Coach K, what's up?
Hello.
How's it
How?
going?
Hi, it's going.
It's
How about
gotta go.
you?
It's gotta go. It's all right. I'll get my round face on here in a second. Just getting my makeup and stuff
Yes.
on. And
Oh yeah, he's in the
no,
what, the dressing room.
yeah. No, I'll be there in a hot second. How was your week?
As we've been talking, it's been pretty crazy, but that's okay. Just, get in the flow. Whenever there's something new, it takes, there's an adjustment period. So,
Learning curve, right? And
mm-hmm.
yeah, adjustment.
Yeah,
And
try not to get, this is to be expected, and that's what I have to remind myself.
right, you got to
Um,
do what you have to do, right?
How about you though?
Hanging in there. We had a loss in the family, so helping to deal with that as far as I
So
grieve a
sorry to
little
hear
different. I'm
that.
I'm slow to grieve. Like it'll hit me like 6 months from now.
I'm
Uh,
sorry to hear that.
yeah. So I'm more of the support this week and uh, mainly looking out for my pops. Because he's. I don't know if you've gone through that transition yet, where you're elderly parents.
Hmm. Can you say who it was? He may have lost connection.
Oh, let's
You might
see.
you might be Borging a little
My
bit.
cellular is going to switch over to Wi-Fi, I think. So you might.
Oh yeah, I know
I
how
mean,
that
I
goes.
think. Um,
No, you're
so
good.
yeah,
You're
can you hear me clearly though?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, good. In fact, let me pause what I'm saying so I can just make sure I'm on the Wi-Fi here. So
You're good.
so just helping with him and dealing with that, and then I've been doing a lot of teaching this week, and I'm excited to say that I just finished my book writing and turned it into a manuscript. So I don't know if you know about that process, but I finally went from just like a document to now it's a manuscript, and I just have to find a print shop.
Ooh.
So yeah. So I'm
Are
excited.
you self-publishing? Is that how that works, right? Isn't it
Actually,
like
and this
better
is the
to
first time that I'm actually working with a publisher. My other ones were self-published and then just through my
Oh,
own company, Education for Change. But I still consider that
that's
self-published if it's me, if it's my
that's
company.
huge.
Yeah. So
Can you
I'm excited.
share what it's about or the topic?
Absolutely. So I have one that's called, and these titles are long. So I'm proud to say one is not so long and one is still long. I'm still working on it. But the publisher might want to change it. And I'm like, ugh. So his
Right.
self hatred and her non existing self worth, a dangerous combination. So, of course,
Oh.
it's a long title, but it's really about, a man's anger and her limited self worth. But they're a match made in heaven.
That's a fact.
Yeah, or who's heaven, but it is a match made in heaven. So it was
Right.
really for couples. It's about couples and relationships and the truths on why we. Well, it depends on whose truth you're talking about. Some perspectives on why we continue to get with the exact same type of people. And what a lot of people don't
Mm.
understand is let's see, I'll be popping up in the back here. A lot of people don't understand. Whoa.
Okay. You figured it out, like how you gotta like you're muted, just in case you didn't know. It's
There
okay.
we go. There we go. All right. Thank you. So, thanks and sorry for those in the audience for all the confusion. So it's about couples and why they keep getting into the same mess. And the truth be told, that we actually get hooked on chaos just as much as we get hooked on sugar or candy or anything else. And you know how you have to have your chocolate? The brain says, I have to have this type of chaos. Like I have to have it. Anything else is either boring or non-existing. Same with the books about that. And then another one, which much shorter title, yay, Parenting with Awareness. So it's a guide for parents of adolescents. And I'm actually broaching the topic of uh, identity.
I had a feeling, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a big, because there are laws
Right.
that say in California, like it's a law now. In Minnesota, they're working on it where if you don't affirm your kid's identity, they could be taken by child protection. It's
Yeah,
considered like
that's
neglect and abuse. Actually, it's abuse
yeah.
and neglect.
In Canada, that's
Oh yeah, that's already taking place. I think
mm-hmm.
in Tennessee and a few other places in the states. One of the challenges, and I don't know how much you have heard about it, especially with the coaching part, because usually I would say coaching is second in the sense of
Mm-hmm.
therapists and psychologists are being advised to
Right.
affirm,
Affirm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so usually then once you create a plan, then you would go to coaching to kind of like coach us through this, parents or adolescents or whatever. So that's what I mean by like secondary in this particular with this particular topic.
Right. Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
there have been therapists who've been sued and psychologists who've been sued. And so one of the things I've been doing is teaching because I'm a licensed supervisor, so a clinical supervisor. So I get people who are new with their license. Um,
Yeah,
but
I'd have to be if I went and got my master's, I'd be with you for like 2,000 hours or
oh,
something
right, yeah,
like that.
So I do that. Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's cool.
So part of that I've been teaching. Not I won't say how not to get sued, but how to work with the client and still stick to your whatever your feel that is clinically appropriate. If you feel like this person is not doesn't meet the criteria, uh-huh. Doesn't meet the criteria. How do you affirm but yet not? So it's really about
Ooh, that's
yeah,
good.
yeah. So I have that written, but where I'm preparing mentally for the pushback about those who are going to say, yeah, I have this book and this doctor says, and as I say, it's not meant for a prescription as much as it is a description. And I have a couple of role plays in there or scripts or role plays that you can have that affirms the youth. But at the same time, we have certain rules of our home. We have values that we follow. We have agreements in this home. We have, and then we just have us, and I might be that parent that kind of gets manipulated into the conversation,
Mm,
or I get sucked in, or it might be two
mhm.
different views. One parent says yes, one says no, all kind of stuff.
Ooh,
Why not?
yeah.
Why don't we pull in the whole family? Why don't we? Because we're talking about a change. I want grandma to stop calling me Jody. Okay, so
Right.
we need to let's have that conversation. Let's bring in grandma, grandpa, uncles, cousins.
Mhm.
And I don't mean like an embarrassment or a shame. In the drug world, that's a shame session where they sit you in the middle and they call it
Mhm.
confrontation or carefrontation.
Right.
So we're not talking. We're saying let's talk about this as a family. One is offering support. Two, what about our professional support? What are we doing about professionals? So, do we have a therapist that you're seeing? Not a one time assessment to say yay or nay. I'm talking about some sessions to talk about the pros and the cons, the benefits and not the benefits. And then let's talk about if this is something you've been identifying all your life, or is this something you've been eagerly motivated about recently because
Good way
of
to put it.
social media and so on and so on? And again,
Wow.
my belief is no one is born one way and all of a sudden sprinkle dust on them and they change. That's not how it works.
Right.
Um, but as a very humanistic approach, very more than it is about anything else. Anyway, I'm
That
excited
is
about
gonna
the book.
be that's gonna be so good and so needed. I'm You already know I'm not nervous for you because you already know, but I think it's just so needed. And sometime after the show, I'm gonna have to because I've been watching, like there's been some therapists I've listened to, or people in the psych field talking about this and how it's impacting their work or impacting how they can help their patients,
Right,
like the
right.
youth patients. And I think
Mhm.
it's a really big concern. But at the end of the day, what it sounds like with your book, but it is still occurring. So how can we, deal with
Right.
this forward, it sounds like, ooh, I'm excited. Man,
Yeah.
just
After,
finished a manuscript or moving on to my manuscript. No, big deal. Not my first book, not my second book.
yeah, well, yeah. You know what? All that is just a hill of beans. You know, as I say, I can have more degrees than a thermometer, and still here I am, and I can have more books,
Yeah,
and but it's
I
really
know.
sometimes it's to be transparent. Every blue moon, I have a reflection moment, like, damn. So 900 degrees and 4 books and blah 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 blah. But where am I? But if anyone saw the movie,
Wow.
if you saw the movie Top Gun Part Two,
Yeah,
Maverick,
Maverick. Mm-hmm.
there's a scene in there when they're like, "You should be an admiral. What's going on?"
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "I'm where I belong."
Mm-hmm.
He's fine being a captain. He's like, I'm where I belong. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that idea, like that hits me. That pivot that helps me pivot. Like, no, I am where I belong.
Right.
I mean, I'm not here trying to blah 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 blah. I'm where I
Right.
need to be. Yeah. So
Yeah, so
anyway,
when that voice comes in, yeah, and it's like,
yeah.
"Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
we
Now
still deal with it too."
how that relates to our topic, and just before we jump in, let's welcome people. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Black Man Unfiltered Network. And this is Breaking the Cycle, Dr. Nakambi with the wonderful Coach K. Hey, yes,
Hey,
yes, yes.
hey.
um, I don't have the screen. I just have the one screen here in the backyard, so I don't see backstage. I don't see who is here. Um,
We have one guest so
okay,
far,
cool.
which
So
is well,
super
and we
chat.
have CBN in the back.
Oh, CBN. Thank you, CBN. And
But
we actually have a guest here tonight pretty soon. Um,
oh no, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Like not like guest in the back, but we have one viewer
one
currently
viewer.
with
All right.
us.
Hey,
We
hey,
have
thank you.
Dragonfly, Joe's
Dragonfly, what's up?
cousin.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. And if
So
people are
funny.
catching this on the replay, thank you for being here. And if
Yes.
you have any questions, please post on the wall any questions about tonight. Our conversation, or day, depending when you hear this, our conversation today is about the formula. And what I mean by that is it's what is the actual formula that helps us, not creates us, but really gets us to the point where gets us to the point of understanding why we have the behavior that we have, why we
Mhm.
live the way we do, how we manage stress, how we deal with stress. And today wouldn't be as much about solutions, but if you're listening on the replay or tonight in the chat, please, as you're hearing these things, put in ideas. But the goal is to start addressing these with different modalities. So in a couple of weeks, we would like to actually invite someone who does yoga and someone who does spiritual healing. In a few weeks, we'd like to bring in some men who want to talk about men's perspectives. I actually want to invite Hink from the basement, who talks about, like straight talk about being a man and
Love
what are those things you have to take care of. But we have a whole network full of people who have different modalities and different ways of managing stress. We have so much talent throughout the network. We like to bring people in and start talking about different ways to address the formula. But one of the tricks, some of the ways that we take care of ourselves actually reinforces our
it.
sickness or our illness or our challenges and our behavior. So some of the things that we think that we're doing actually to get better actually reinforces the problem. And that's
Like
what this
it.
conversation tonight is about. It's about that
Yeah,
formula. So people now again, ladies and gentlemen and others, this is for understanding, not for justification. It's for understanding, not for justification. None of us should be going back to say, yeah, well, don't think just because and don't stay. It is only for understanding to give some idea and perspectives on why this stuff's happening. And tonight we actually have a guest who has good life experience, has had some issues with trauma, some chaos in her life, so to speak, and has overcome a lot of that chaos. She's a professional chef and also a mentor, actually teaching other people how to be a chef, teaching other youth how to be successful, how to overcome their adverse experiences. So she was open and willing to join us in the conversation about overcoming adversity and some of the challenges and struggles that she's actually gone through. um, the conversation as we're going, for those listening, please put in questions that you may have, and we'll try to get to those. And if you're listening on the replay, if you'll post them on the wall, and then one of us will get back to you on a response. Um, One other celebration, Coach, before we go there, the
Yes.
network has hit 3,000. Woo! Yes,
Let's
yes,
go.
yes, yes. Um,
Yep.
I'm not speaking for BMU, but I would like to say this. I'm confident that he's not celebrating the numbers the way we may. And the reason I say that, and again, if I'm wrong, BMU, definitely let me know. What I'm thinking is he's happy to provide a space, to provide a network, to provide entertainment, education, support, a place, a home away from home. For some people, this is like their second home.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
pretty close to their first, as much as they, how much they've invested in time and energy. Um, and it's such a place that people call home. It's family, friends. And I think if he had two people or 2 million, that's what it's about, is the space. But I could be wrong. But either way,
Love you.
collectively, we celebrate 3,000. I'm happy for him, and so I just wanted to give that shout out. And so, if you're listening to the replay or if you're here, please give a shout out and applause for reaching the 3K. And we actually applaud you, the
Yes.
listeners, subscribers. Uh, right? We applaud you. You are the 3,000. so
Mm-hmm.
so we thank
Can't do
you
it without you.
for making it happen and for being here. And hopefully it's stuff that you just continue to like and love and share. So we appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
And yep. Couldn't have said it any better.
all right. Um, One other thing, Tyrus,
Yes.
he definitely frequents our network often.
He's my
I'm not,
neighbor up in northern Ohio.
oh, really? Oh, I didn't know
Well,
that.
I'm at the very bottom of Ohio,
Yeah.
but he's in
Oh, I
Ohio.
didn't give him a shout out when I was crossing the states. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Tyrus has been on a couple of the shows here and has been very supportive and advocating for humans, just humans in period. But some of the
Mm-hmm.
conversations were actually about trans people and some of the abuse that both sides, so I say both, but as in heterosexual and then trans people, some of the arguments and fights they've been having. And
Right.
Tyrus, part of his argument was we're destroying each other. And, he's very, very like hardcore about I don't give a damn what you perceive or what you think the problems are. But when we start talking about hurting each other and deleting each other and not protecting each other because of our beliefs and practices, like he's not with he has some friends that he cares about. If I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken, Mandrell, I think has some friends in the trans community. I think we all know someone, but I'm talking about like
Yeah.
friends. The only reason I'm highlighting this is because I like to give my not condolences. The person wasn't deleted, but there was a recent attack, very abusive attack on someone who was trans, identifies as, and a group of young black men decided to harass and attack and physically attack this person because they were trans.
Where
And
was
so
that?
one of the things that came to mind is, wow, if we're being harassed, bullied, messed with, when I think about African Americans, when they say, "Oh, we have this race issue," I should be able to walk down the street in peace without being harassed. I should be able to do X, Y, and Z without a pickup truck coming on the side of me and chasing me with chains and dogs, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so when it comes to being a black man against a different race, we say, absolutely, we want to be safe. We want to
Mm-hmm.
be home. And we would get upset if one Caucasian hyped up another Caucasian or one ethnic group hyped up another to hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we talk about for African Americans, when we say, well, we're one group and how do we protect each other as one group? And then, of course, we have all different types of people.
Right.
And And every race can say that. Every ethnic group can say that. Like, duh, yeah, we're Caucasian, but we have silly Caucasian. We have a serious Caucasian. We have the one that matches all the stereotypes in the black neighborhood, and we have one that doesn't. We have one that's. But at the end of the day, when we're hurting people in the name of just I don't like you,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of that. But I get teasing, I get bullying, but here's why I always land on this because everyone has their different opinions, and my views are maybe not necessarily the views of the network or any of our views. It doesn't mean it goes with the network, but I would like to say, and because I understand human behavior, so this really comes from a behavior perspective, or this comes from a humanistic view, is that none of us asked to be who we are.
Mm.
Like when we were born, unless you have yours, Coach K, this the application where we get to mark off who we want to be, how we
Mhm.
want to be. I'm talking about like at 1 years old, where we send this to a higher power. Make sure I have freckles. Make sure I'm
Right.
tall. Make sure I'm skinny. Make sure I'm heterosexual. I just don't
Yeah.
know if any of us have that application where
The
we
immutable
ask.
characteristics. I think
Right,
that's
right.
yeah. Yeah.
So the debate on how people become the way they want to be and blah blah blah. That's always that's all. I'm always welcome to healthy debate. But when it comes to things that people can't control, like if we see a heavyweight person, like an overweight person getting picked on and beat up and bullied
Yeah.
because they're overweight, it's like wait a second.
Mhm.
Now I know they have control of the pizza and the Pringles, and I get that,
Very
right?
good.
At the
Yeah.
same time, what about those who are on medication? And one of the side effects of medication is weight gain.
Mhm.
And I'm talking about life needing, life. They need the medication to live. And
Yeah.
so if they don't take it, that's another hole. But when they do take it, the steroids or whatever causes them to gain weight. So
Right.
that's out of their control. Is that something we should just attack and hurt people? What about the
Yeah.
people in the Special Olympics? I'm
Mhm.
talking about the people who have, and please forgive me, I'm not describing it correctly, but they have the facial features where, the flat face or the eyes.
Yeah.
What about them? Do you think anyone signed up to be that way? I
Absolutely
wonder if the
not.
person who's only about 3 feet tall, if they signed up to be that way. And not that I know, no one signed up to be the way they are.
Mhm.
Right. The people who we consider like jokingly or serious, like, ugh, they're not the best looking person. Like they're like the word ugly, but did they
Mhm.
ask, like, where did you get your beauty from? Did you sign up? Like, is there a class you signed up for or something, Coach K? Like when you were 2 years old, you said, make sure I'm beautiful. Did you sign up for that or something?
No.
No. Okay.
I had a lazy eye.
Actually, we
Like,
all do. We all do.
do we?
Yes. All right. One little thing, because I'm eating up all kind of time. I should have already jumped
You
in this.
know I'll be,
Yeah.
all
Listen,
right.
look at any picture, any one of you. Look in the mirror. And you will see one side of your face is at a slant and the other side is
Okay.
down. Every single person, every human has that. Some have like a full sideways.
Okay.
Yep,
Duh.
everyone.
My
And
eye
then,
was like this.
yeah, one eye is a lazy eye, the other one is more oval.
My
Everyone.
eye was really bad.
Yeah. Now, if you ever see perfect,
Shut it.
perfect, perfect images, those are probably Photoshop. But if you look,
Yeah.
and I'm cursed, I can't even go to a movie now without, wow, look at that side.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to forget you said that, but yeah,
Yeah,
so
everyone,
yeah,
everyone. Some
everyone
have
has
really like
something.
really puffy on one side, some is just a little. But if you look, we
Yeah.
all body. One leg is longer than the other. One
Yeah.
man chest, a woman chest, or
Like
whatever chest. One side is
my
bigger than the
hair,
other.
one's thicker,
Hair.
like one has
Yeah.
more hair, like
Yeah.
on my part. Just
Okay.
different. Yeah. Yeah.
All
We all
right.
got some weird stuff
Yeah.
going on. It's
Yeah.
totally fine. It's not weird, it's just different.
Right. Right.
But what you said was great though.
Right.
That no one asked.
Oh
Hello.
yeah. And so, oh, what's up? What's up? What's up, Biz Queen?
Peace
Welcome.
and
Welcome.
blessings, beautiful people.
Yes.
Thank you. I've been
Yes.
listening for a long time and I just finally hit the other invitation, so my
Oh.
bad.
All right. Got it. Got it. Got it. Welcome. All right. Let me just land this plane. We'll get. We'll introduce you and everything in a hot second. Thank you. So yeah, Coach K, I just wanted to give shout out to Tay Roos and in the world, really. But I know we have some people who visit here on the network that have
Mm-hmm.
friends. And I know I've listened to him and talked with him a few times where he's like, that's some bull and it's wrong. And I'm hoping we can have more dialogue about that. I'm not talking about the ones who are like the ones where we say, oh, they're tampering with our kids and they're going to. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about that. I'm talking
Yeah.
about people who identify the way they identify, and
Yeah.
then someone else takes it
Yeah.
upon themselves to feel like they're better than, and then tries to hurt the person. So, and I get bullying, I get all that. I've had my fair share of feeling and acting like I'm a different or better than. But when it comes to abusing people, that's not cool. Because then we get mad if someone who identifies differently says, "I'm gonna start carrying my gun," and as soon as I see a heterosexual person, I'm blasting them. Right,
Right.
I'm just blasting like, yeah, fuck around if you want to. But that works both ways. Fuck around if you want to.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
it
Yeah.
keeps us all unsafe. All right.
Yeah.
So the formula, and I'm gonna mix it in with Queen here. Welcome, welcome. Uh, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Oh, not a problem. Thank you for inviting me. Hello,
Yes,
Coach
yes,
K. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Good.
excellent.
I'm
If you want
excited.
to give some type of intro or whatever you want to tell us about yourself, and
Uh, I've been living life for 40 years. I mean, I got a lot of opinions. Mother of two. I love great conversation, and I'm all about reaching reaching a goal. Overall, let's fix in the situation. And if one thing don't work, let's get to the next.
mm,
So,
mm, mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
thank you for the lovely introduction too, King.
No,
You know, I appreciate that. And I mean, I love what you said, so I'm not gonna take from it.
okay, good, good. I know of your work. A long time ago, I remember meeting you a few years ago and hearing about the cooking work that you do, and the group of people that you were working with is like, wow, you served them that, and what I was really struck by is almost the point of what I was just making. Just because someone is different or has some struggles in life doesn't mean that they deserve less than. And I
Right.
remember when you talked about that, I was like, holy bucket. So these people were eating like, what did you like? Stuff that I would only imagine as some like fancy. I mean, in there sprinkles and stuff. I'm like, damn, like, what's she? Who is this for?
You play so much. You play
I'm like,
so much. But it's
what?
the it was a different facility. I've worked in all types, 5-star restaurants to big corporations, Target. I've done shelters, rehabilitation centers,
Mm,
and overall, at the end of the day, food is universal.
right.
So if I can feed you with your soul,
Mm,
I feel as though I did my part.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it don't matter where we at. I'm gonna feed you as though it's me that's eating, and you're here to eat with me, and we breaking bread together.
Right. Okay.
Love it.
Yes. Now, Coach K, usually there's one of these Sir Hail a lot, Sir Hail a lot, Sir Hail. Oh my word, Sir Hail Network.
Yeet.
Sir Hail speaks. Sir, my apologies. He plays this clip that says the show just took a turn. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to waste any time, valuable time. What I want to do is actually get deep into this conversation because just
Yeah.
now when I heard you speaking, when I think of the background, it's like, well, okay, you believe in feeding the soul, and I guess one of the questions I have is, and I just want to be blunt and apologize in advance to our listeners, but just a real straight question: why do you give a fuck? Like, why would you care enough for other people,
Mm-hmm.
considering some of the challenges you may have had in life? And we can get into whatever you feel comfortable with, but considering, because when I met you, like I said, I was thinking, wow, you're serving these people who have some struggles in life, and you could actually work anywhere. You can
Mm.
work anywhere. So you've done the 5 stars. You've been there, done that. I like it. The money is good, but you're here with these people. Why these people? And I've always been curious to that. Like, why do you care so much?
Mm.
Well, I was listening to your show before I had finally clicked in, and it's trauma. So don't you know how like hurt people? I
Mm,
feel as though it's my duty, and it's kind of like the mirroring too. Well, if I want you guys to know first and foremost that I genuinely care, so by me genuinely caring, the food I'm gonna feed you is gonna be made with love.
mhm,
And once you feed somebody good food, that opens up conversation. So then now you get a chance to find out more of a person's situation, and you quickly learn that, hey, I've stayed in shelters.
mhm,
My mom comes, you know what I'm saying? I come from government assistance and Section 8 and all this other stuff. So it's like we have to find different ways to reach and talk to each other. It can't just always be, well, um, the bad part of trauma. Trauma
mhm,
can bring the good out of us too.
mhm. What do you mean by that? Like brings out the good. What do you? Can you explain a
I
little bit
mean,
more
like,
about that?
i.e., take for instance me wanting to serve and give back this way.
Mhm,
Me having a a caring personality where I want to talk and share words of wisdom and
mhm.
and hope, because we've all had our lows, but it's not what we do, it's how we did it to
Right.
come from it. And sometimes it just be the words of encouragement that we need.
Mhm. So when you talk about trauma, and not that you not I'm not looking for you to disclose, but have you ever felt betrayal?
Yeah.
Betrayed by anyone? Betrayed by loved ones? Okay.
Yes.
So the belief is, this research says, if you've been betrayed by loved ones, then you can't trust anybody. If your own mama did this to you, how can I trust someone? If your own daddy did this to you, how can I trust someone?
Well, I'm not no doctor, so I
Mhm.
can't speak upon research. I can only speak upon myself.
Right.
And that is true to a certain extent, but it didn't break me or have me feeling some type of way where I'm not going to want to care. I don't empathize or sympathize. I'm not going to help. If
Right.
there's something I can do, I'm going to try it. Now, I will say the trauma has maybe limit the way that I may, and I'm gonna be blunt, I'm a cursor. Fuck with a motherfucker. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Okay.
That's just how it keeps me safe to a certain degree. But I'm still I'm still very caring, because you know what I'm saying? I'm human. Not to
Mhm,
say that you may not be, or Coach K you may not be,
mhm.
because again, everybody is different, and everybody's trauma and things that has happened to their lives is very understandable on why they would move the way that they would with certain people, but everybody is different.
Right. And when I hear that, and Coach K, and just so you know where I'm going with it, for Queen and for you, Coach K, and for those listening, I'm not trying to push that if we've had trauma, we're just doomed and we can't, we suck in life and then we're done. I'm not saying that. And it doesn't mean that we're bitter and angry with everyone also. Doesn't mean that I can't care about people because I've been betrayed, now screw the whole world. So that's not what I'm implying. But when we talk about tonight's topic, as far as the formula, I say, well, some of this, Queen, what you were saying, is like you've actually become who you are because of some of those experiences. So you lived in, you said, in the shelter, so now you're able to see people still as been there, done that. I'm with you. I might be here in life, but I'm with you. But the challenge I have is for people who may have betrayed you. What did you do, or how did you get past that point of I can care about other people? Why not continue with every person for themselves? F y'all, screw y'all. I got to protect myself. Well, what did you do to get past that?
I mean, we all go through that. Wouldn't you agree with that, Coach?
Mm,
Like, you have your moments where some days you like fuck it, some days I'm gonna help. I mean, it goes with the flow, but I mean, do y'all not? I don't want to speak for y'all.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I would say from like the point that I'm at now, because I'm sure there's been times where I'm like, F everyone, but from right now, yeah, like there might be, you know, there from things that I've been through, yeah, I might be a little cautious, but you know, but it's not like a blanket, like, you know, F everyone, I don't trust anyone, if that's what you're talking about, Doctor, to come be.
So yes, let's choose. And Queen, if you think of maybe not even you, but people you served, let's pick, or even
Mm,
those listening in the chat, let's name a trauma. Let's name a situation, because even trauma seems oversaturated, overused. Let's even just pick
mm,
an experience that we had that could have led to someone feeling unsafe, especially as a child. So an
mm,
experience where someone felt unsafe. Queen, a few weeks ago, we showed some videos where a guy was being harassed by their friend, so-called friend, about their dog. Hey man, get the dog, put your dog away, come on. And I talk about how that experience traumatized that person to the point where now they don't trust people. You play too much, stay away. I'm cool. So let's create a foundation. What what would we say is a good experience to use? An unfortunate experience that we can use for our template here. If that makes sense. Does that question make sense?
It do.
Okay. Any thoughts on let's name a situation. And I'm gonna look to
I
see
mean,
here in that
I'm
chat.
okay with the dog. Can you relate with that, Coach? Okay.
yeah,
Now that right there is double sided.
Mm-hmm.
For one way, you know, you understand the person who has been bitten. Like you only got to bite me one time, and hey, I asked you to put your dog up. I know what happens. But then you have the people who be like, well, this is my dog. She's never bitten nobody before. And that was the past. It's all fun and games until now your dog bites somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And that could have been something that could have been totally prevented had the owner of the dog just put the dog up and just respected what the person was saying.
Right. And I agree because we won't put the blame on the dog. It's really the owner, right? The owner. But in that video, they well in the YouTube stuff, but or TikTok, but it's presented from the background that I know, they're friends. So as my friend, one, when you turn like that, so not literally, but when you say, all this could have been prevented, hold on, calm the fuck down, because we all play like this. We all don't act brand new. Like if that's my approach towards you, like I'm insulted that you feel insulted. I
like
can't believe.
what's the big deal?
Right.
But again, though, at the end
Yeah.
of the day, the big deal is it's all fun and games until it's the other person. So now, if my
Mhm.
dog bit you, or if I would have bit y'all asses, does that make it justified?
No,
It
but
doesn't.
since
But
you didn't
again,
get
it's
the
all
dog
based up
already,
off of the perspective. And
right?
again, it's not what we do, it's how we do it. And by everybody being their own individual person, we'll never know. So it just comes down to, for me, the respect.
Mm. Oh, I'm glad you said that. So let's talk about that.
Because if that's me and my dog, and I
Yeah.
got a dog, somebody say, hey, we don't. You know what? I'm gonna let you know she got commands. The bitch listens. You tell her house, she goes to house. And if she still itches on your ass, I'm going upstairs. She will go. I
Right.
have them type of boundaries and respect with hopes that another person will have it from me. But
Hope.
again, though, when you have the two type, when you have the friend who makes the comments, well, you know, then now you tend to look and see, well, like, does this person respect you the same way you would respect them?
Okay. Queen, let me pause for a quick second. For our listeners, and if you're on the replay, please put it in on the wall. Will three of you please put in your definition of respect? What is the definition of respect? And
Yeah,
Coach
that's
K, I'm going to ask
interesting.
you, and I probably asked you this before. What is your definition? Oh, and I think we lost it, dropped her off. But I'm gonna ask Queen when she comes back, what is her definition? And if we can get three people in the chat just to put your definition of respect, there's no right or wrong answer.
Gosh, I feel like I just heard someone define it too, but um, I guess having regard or a high regard for someone, or consideration.
Okay.
Uh, and
High
I'm doing this
regard and
without
consideration.
looking it up.
Okay. No, that's cool.
Not the
Queen, what would you say your definition of respect is?
Taking in consideration a person's feelings the same way that I would want them to take mine in consideration. Like,
All
I
right.
respect you enough to really consider how you would feel in this situation.
Right. Okay. So my version is treat people how they want to be treated. Okay. Treat people how they want to be treated. So I want to say we have about 2.5 because you and Coach have that one line of taking into consideration.
Mhm.
But how I would want to be treated and regard and how I would treat others. Three different definitions, and I'm just kind of doing word soup here or wordplay, but three different definitions for one word.
Yeah.
When I hear you say it comes down to respect, I agree, no pushback. But if my version of respect leads me to saying, you acting like a little bitch right now, calm the fuck down, you know we were playing, and you knew I was playing, but I don't know what you're doing with your dog. I've asked you to get your dog. Please get, since you called her bitch, get your bitch and move her along. So my version of respect is to treat you how you want to be treated. Yours is different. So we might be totally missing each other with
Mm.
the intent to respect each other. So
And
again,
that
I'm
can
not
happen.
pushing. So I'm not pushing back, but I'm saying, okay, how do we get there? How do we get to the understanding of what respect is?
Mm.
I mean, I would say um, we're having more open conversations like this.
Yeah.
Because the only way I would know how you would want to be treated and vice versa is by having conversations. Like, I can't just up and assume it. Just like how I couldn't up and assume um, our answer or definition was going to be the same.
Right. Well, when do we have those conversations? Because if you're my homie, if we're coworkers, any position, any role that we want to talk about, when do we have those conversations? If I say you have a dog and we've built a friendship or we're family, we're cousins, whatever the case, but then that event happens. This event didn't happen before. The stimuli wasn't there before. So when would we have been sitting down saying, well, you know, Queen and Coach, what I really like, when do we have those conversations? When do people get involved romantically and they have those conversations about what respect is? If I'm Guga over you, I don't want to hurt your feelings, or I don't want to say something that might push you away. So are we
That's
Or
really
real.
you
having this
think
conversation?
they're unspoken, like, oh, I thought you
It's
just
real.
knew this. Like,
Right.
like
Hmm.
I thought this is just what you do, as my girlfriend, as my boyfriend, or whatever.
Yeah. Thought and hope,
Yes.
right? But
Right.
hope in one hand, shit in another. Which one feels more real? So I thought you understood. I thought you knew, but only to find out you don't know diddly. You don't know diddly about me. And then now I'm even those words. Not everyone. For those listening, please remember when I get into my theatrics that I always talk extreme. If you land somewhere in there before extreme, awesome. I always give extreme examples. So Queen, my suggestion is that when I say I'm offended, because all this time I really thought I was respecting you. I thought that. So we should have had these conversations, but we didn't. Now, in the heat of the moment, it lands differently. The stimuli, us having a session or a conversation at 2 in the afternoon. I ain't mean to call you a bitch. I know you didn't, and I love you, and I love you too. And I didn't mean it at 2 in the afternoon in the coaching realm or the therapy or just friends or what's that sounds good and it sounds safe. Hint, hint. We're gonna be coming back to that word. It sounds safe, but at 2 in the morning, bitch, that lands differently than at the 2 p.m. version.
Yeah, but though, that's still going to come back to having those types of conversations. And like you say, when do we have them? I mean, shit, we have to make time for them. Because if you don't, then when those bitch conversations at 2 in the morning, they land different and they hit different. And now y'all both mad because ain't nobody going to sleep. You know what I'm saying? How do you move past it? because you're not supposed to go to sleep. But again, if you're in your ego, you know
Mm,
what I'm saying, and you
mm,
butt hurting in you and your feelings, how do you? So
mhm,
it's important to even, because going back to trauma, if you was a kid, or you are a child that was raised in a household where they didn't talk,
mhm.
they went to bed mad, how do you address these issues moving forward? You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? Like, how
Mhm,
do you even take in consideration or be respectful that the way that I've been taught and programmed to do it all this time for so long is wrong? So
mhm,
now I can move forward to making it right and having these conversations.
mm, mm. Awesome. Coach K, I'm going to take a sharp turn. Is on purpose. If you ever follow directions like the map thing, they say turn left, turn right. So this is a sharp turn, but it's an ingredient that I would like to add to the formula.
All right, I'm
All
buckled
right.
up.
Queen, when you just mentioned, and I don't think you said this word actually, but because I'm replaying what you just said, you didn't. I don't think you said this word, but it sounds like you were talking about if we had taken the time to share our vulnerabilities. Would you agree? Does that land with you somewhere in what you were saying?
It can, yeah. I get where you're
Okay.
going.
All right. Now, coincidentally, this Friday, for those listening in, please tune into the conversation on the barbershop. On the barbershop, they're going to be talking about should a man share his vulnerabilities with his woman? Should a man be vulnerable? Should a man be vulnerable? And so, Queen, when I listen to you and I think about, well, do we actually take risk in sharing our vulnerabilities? And then when you said, well, blah, 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 my trauma, that's what it was, trauma. So, hypothetically speaking, because I know you were just speaking to it, but let's say then I'm thinking, well, why did she throw my trauma into the conversation? Like if you said, well, I know you have trauma, I know you had some experiences, but why did you take the liberty to bring in my trauma into the conversation? A hypothetical situation. We're using the dog one, and then let's say we're at a spot now where all three of us are just having a good conversation. We're like actually having a healthy conversation. And then Queen, if you happen to say, and dude, I know you have trauma. I know you experienced some whatever, whatever. Why would that be okay?
Well, first, I didn't point out your trauma. I pointed out that it may be my trauma. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
mm,
So I say that just playing with it, because
yeah.
that's something that happens when people have conversations, and we're exposing certain things. So now, again, people take this into defense, like, well, what is she trying to say? Well, I'm saying with that example, let's just say it wasn't no safe space growing up where you could say, mom, such and such, this hurted me, or y'all never had those types of conversations. So now when you're older and you're in a sexual relationship, you're mimicking what you seen. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Hmm.
In your
Hmm.
childhood, and now you're not getting none of the same results. Now you don't know how to communicate. Now you
Hmm.
don't know what your trauma or trigger points is.
Right. Nice.
Would you
Right.
agree, Coach K?
Yeah, I think so. I
One
don't
of
see
the
where
things
Dr.
out of
Decode
that
would
is
go with it.
Say that
that,
again.
what'd you say,
I
Coach?
didn't see where you're going, Dr. Decode.
Oh, well, based on what Queen said, you could, going back a few comments, she said trauma, but I turned it to vulnerability. Like, how did you know about my trauma? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't remember the exact words, but the fact that she mentioned it, I'm imagining that I must have told her a story before. So all three of us are friends. The dog thing, in the moment, it's not time to talk about it. But Coach, you were in the scenario. Coach, you were there. You didn't even protect me. You didn't even help me. And you with the dog, boom, dude. I know you got trauma. But now when I presented that back, Queen said, actually, I was talking about my trauma, which worked perfectly because guess what that is, Coach? Just what do you think that is that Queen was talking about her stuff. I automatically made it about me.
You could say that's personalizing or just or projection in a sense,
Yes.
if it's
I think let's use both. Let's say
yeah,
personalizing first
yeah.
and then projecting. But the damage that could be done with just those two steps. Personalizing, why are you talking about my shit?
Right.
Well, I just took off. She mentioned trauma. And now I'm going to project and might do some damage with my flamethrower here. Hold on, why are you bringing up my shit? Who the fuck told you to bring up my shit? Like, why? Whoa. And but you heard what Queen. Now, I appreciate. I think that's one of the things that came to mind. Like, oh man, I got to get on the Queen. Is your ability to be like, first of all, calm down, calm down. We weren't.
What about you? I
Right,
said
right.
mine.
Yeah.
But too, though, right? That same scenario. If a person really cared, had the consideration, that's the
Mm,
aha moment right there. You'd be like, oh, a motherfucker really do got trauma. Cause now I see he was ready to snap. You
right.
know what I'm saying? So it's really is something wrong. So now, friend, what has happened?
Mm.
You know?
Yeah. Well, because I thought you were talking about my shit. Because you started talking about world trauma, like, because I told you some things before. So why would you? Why would you even bring that up?
But I'm bringing up my trauma when I said again, my household,
Hmm.
that's how they went to bed.
Right.
My household, I never said nothing about yours.
Right. Now,
And
coach.
again, even with us having this type of conversation, it should help open open up doors and spaces for now trust. Because again, I'm letting you know it wasn't about you. It was
Right.
my trauma.
Right. Now,
But
coach is
now how are you
protecting
how are you
you.
gonna receive it? Because you
Right.
never know. A motherfucker can go way left.
Yeah. So, coach, if we're in session, because I don't want to give it away, but want to get your idea. When Queen just eloquently offered the support, she recognized. I want to throw that into the formula. How much do we recognize, and how blind are we? How jaded and how blind have we become because of these experiences? How jaded and how blind. I throw that into the formula of why we act the way we act, why we talk the way we talk, why do we respond instead of why do we react instead of respond? So throwing that into the formula, and then Queen switched it to show some compassion and concern, empathy, compassion, concern. Still within the dialogue of our friendship, like, dude, you see, you fucked up right there because you took that all. Why'd you do? Why'd you? I was talking about me actually. And then here's the turn, coach. Queen landed that, and then I said, "Oh, okay. So what do we call that?" In the formula of why people act the way they act, what could I have just done implied when I got my feel good? When Queen said, "Dude, calm down, dude. I wasn't even see you're not even listening. That you listen, Dodo Bird. I was talking about me.
Hmm.
Oh, and when I do this, oh, okay. Anybody know what that's called? And there's no wrong answer. Remember, and it's like, oh, things don't get that technical, but actually it does. We're talking about the ingredients. We're talking about the formula.
I mean, I'm not sure exactly. Maybe like shutting down, and I'm wondering if that person is then thinking like, but what about me though, and like what I was talking about. Is that like
Yeah.
stonewalling? I'm not sure, but
You,
I don't know all these words. But
yes, and please forgive me. I get stoked about this because I already know in my mind where I know where I'm going, right? So
I know what I
dismissing,
love, but I'm like, gosh, I
yes,
think I see what you're talking about. I don't have all the degrees, but we're on the same page. I was
yeah.
kidding.
When we dismiss each other. So Queen reassured me, dude. I wouldn't even. Why'd you talk about my reassurance? No, calm down. I was talking about me.
Mhm.
Oh, but my victim. So we talk about trauma bonding. So my victimization actually didn't even show care and concern. I was more happy. I was more satisfied. I was okay that it was your shit and not mine. And where was the courtesy of showing care, concern? And that's one of the things people miss in all kinds of relationships. I don't know if any of you have experienced that listening in, where where you apologized for something,
Mm-hmm.
you overextended to help them really understand. You went above and beyond to make something more comfortable and correct, only to feel dismissed. Not that you did not do it for. Queen, I'm going to assume you weren't responding like to, oh no, I want you to feel better. I think you were helping to put things in perspective.
Right, because I wasn't trying to pacify you. I was just trying to let you know, like, hey, I get where it may have triggered you, but that
Mhm.
right there wasn't the intent. Because again, I said my trauma. So it's not about you. It was about me. So when that's the only way I can explain to you what I'm going through. But like you
Mhm.
said, a lot of us tend to self-absorb certain situations, and then now we feel as though we're being attacked and we're not.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm. Mm.
Yeah. What if like, and it's funny because this has actually been something that's been recent for me, this like kind of, context of this scenario. But like, what if, the person says, or like Queen in this example, like, oh, well, that wasn't my intent. And sometimes I wonder, and I'm guilty of this, where I'm like, oh, well, that wasn't my intent. Like I wasn't, I didn't mean it that way. This is kind of how when I said that, this is what I meant. And then we expect that person to be like, oh, okay, I'm not upset anymore, like as
But
if
but
like,
but you but that's
yeah,
the thing
yeah.
though. We can't expect for that person because
Mm-hmm.
again, the same way that person didn't expect for us to have these emotions and feelings and us to react, we can't be like
Mm-hmm.
that towards them.
Right.
So again, whatever your intent was, it caused something. So now we
Mm-hmm.
have to be mindful and stay not in ourselves, but still in that singular or in that place where we're still trying to understand. So then that
Mm-hmm.
way we're moving through it and we're not in our feelings. Because a
Right.
lot of times conversations, if our true intent is not to resolve, we're listening to be heard and we're hearing to talk. If
Right.
that makes sense
Whoa,
to
whoa,
y'all.
whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Say that again for the people in the back. Say that again. Say
Did,
that
did
again.
that make sense to y'all?
Well, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
say it again. Say it again, please.
Yeah, that's like everyone needs to hear that, like every person
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to
on your
remember
team.
it.
All
But
right.
I said that's oh my goodness. Y'all just hit the rewind button. We're gonna have to
You
we're gonna have to do that. We have to do that more
Well,
often,
all right.
okay?
All right.
Hit the rewind button.
Listening to be.
You said listening to like if you're not listening to resolve, you said then we're just listening to, you said respond, and then you said I don't
Something
what was
like
it?
that. Hit the rewind button.
Yeah,
Hit the
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
rewind
we
yeah.
button
have
All right,
later.
all right,
to,
all right,
yeah, we
all right.
have to clip
But it
it.
was profound. It was profound. That's why I'm like, whoa, that was good. That was good. And one of the things I like to point out of what you just said is the trust and the safety that it takes to actually be open to listening, um,
Hmm.
and then not just to be heard, but then to listen back,
Right.
right? To listen back. And um, one of the things in that formula that I talked about, that all these pieces that we have to take into consideration, is like there's a lot of work to have healthy connections and healthy relationships and healthy, a lot of work involved. But for those who've experienced trauma or an adverse childhood experience, their reasoning gets hijacked. So our reasoning gets hijacked. So if you ever hear someone do something, you say like, "Wow, really? Like that's your fourth or fifth time? Like, are you that stupid? Are you that dumb? Why do you keep doing it? Why do you keep doing it? Why?" Because the reasoning gets hijacked, and we end up trauma bonding thinking it's cool. But, you know, sometimes when we trauma bond with people, that's actually not the best situation at all. Not the best situation at all. And so, Coach K, if um if you dealt with breakups and stress and chaos in your life,
Mm-hmm.
and because you witnessed it as maybe let's say grandparents, like they were just off the chain, and then
Mm-hmm.
I had grandparents that were off the chain, it's like, oh my gosh, we understand each other.
Yeah.
But if we're talking grandparents and we're talking two generations back.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 generations ago, what rubbed off to our parents?
Mm-hmm.
Workaholics, mood swings, maybe some more alcoholics. Then what rubs off to us?
Mm-hmm.
Their emotional availability to us. Shoot, dad was always drunk. He ain't never spent no time with me. And any amount of that bonding that we do, like we both understand that not being heard, not being listened to, we get comfortable in that because we understand it together. But then where's the growth? Like
And is that,
if I
go on,
yeah,
continue.
if I want to break away and grow from this, but then you feel abandoned,
Right.
hmm
Is
or
that
vice
something
versa.
we want to have be our commonalities? Like that's the things that we share together that, keeps us close. Those are the things that
Yeah.
like connect us, especially ultimately. Are those the things that we want
Mm.
to be the things?
But it feels good. I would say yes.
It's familiar.
It's
It's
familiar.
very familiar.
Yes.
And
And so
that's what
therefore
we
it feels safe.
crave.
Yep, we
But
crave it. It feels safe.
it's so crazy because it's right up there with change. You
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? You know
Yep.
how they say, "Oh, change, everybody needs it." But change is so fucking uncomfortable.
Yep.
Mm.
That's
Change
leaving the
change
cave.
will change, you don't know what to expect. So when you're
Mm-hmm.
trauma bonding with somebody, oh, I know this.
Mm-hmm.
I know I know how I'm gonna act versus how am I gonna do this without or just this new mind frame. What is this?
Right.
Yep.
Mm. Right.
Exactly.
Mm. Coach, do you have any questions at the moment?
Not right now. I'm curious to see where this train is headed.
We're close. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I'm with it though. It all makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah. The conversation we've had so far, some of the things I wanted to add in there is safety, understanding, trauma bonding, neglectful type of communication. So Queen
Mm,
acknowledged something for me. I neglected to acknowledge it for her.
mm,
Emotional availability. Queen was able to offer me something that helped to soothe me. I didn't return. I wasn't emotional. In fact, I was more attacking. Why did you? And then I even projected after personalizing. And with the personalizing, I came out with a flamethrower when I responded, like burn her back up. So I'm causing damage in the relationship, all in the name of making sure that I feel safe.
right.
All in the
But
name of
when you don't know no better, you can't do no better.
true. But it's okay, Queen. But what if I believe this is my belief? I'm holding on to it.
Then that's when, and again, like I said, I can only deal with so much.
Mm.
I gotta go. Like this isn't conducive for me anymore. And it's so sad because then now it goes back to that now you're abandoned. Now you're this, but
Yeah.
if you can't even because you don't know no better, how can you do any better?
Wait. So you were supportive earlier and reassuring that it's not about my stuff. Well, you know I have abandonment issues, and you would leave.
I mean, we tried it right and wrong. And again, like you had said, and you had ended it with it. What was your phrase that you ended with it?
Um, I don't know. What?
Do you remember,
Uh,
Coach?
You're asking the wrong person. I forget what I said like 2 minutes ago.
All right. So what
Oh
did I just
man.
say? But I was saying, before the abandonment, I was saying I was putting all these pieces together about neglect,
Mm.
emotional. So I wasn't there for you emotionally because you were helping to soothe me, but I didn't return. So then, boom. And then you said, if that's the case, if I'm not going to meet your needs, you're out after a while. Because I'm like, well, what if I believe my way is correct? Like, I really don't see all what I'm doing wrong. Remember, this is out of my protection. This is out of
Right.
my
And but remember, and that's what you said. And
Mm.
that's what made me get to the breaking point. Well, if this right here, if I don't see nothing wrong with it, well, if you don't see nothing wrong with it, you know what I'm saying? That's your decision and you have the right to do that. But again,
Mhm.
I've reassured, I've tried to talk to you, I've pointed out some things. And again, there's still no willingness of even acknowledging and wanting to see. Should I, if you were me at this point in your study giving, would you continue to give where now you're depleting yourself and now you're no longer this good person to now be understanding for you now to, you know what I'm saying, be compassionate and want to continue to, after a while you get burnt. Like, what do you do? I don't have that to keep giving
Mm,
for, I
mhm.
mean, especially if I'm supposed to be nice and help the homeless and be Mother Teresa and help the kids and,
Right?
and cook and clean. Like, how can I? Some got to give, right or wrong. What would you do, Coach?
Well, it depends. So, what I was thinking about is it depends. Like, and of course, we're talking very like, what's the exact situation here? But let's say, I'm in a relationship with someone who has these traumas and they're not changing. And Dr. Nakumbi, you just said, well, or one of you said about, you can't do better. If you don't know better, you can't do better.
Right. You
So,
said,
I'm wondering, how can I expect this person to change? Now, I'm not going to heal their trauma. Like, that's, first of all, that's not my job. Second of
Right.
all, it's not possible. Like, yeah, that doesn't work. Like, I don't coach people that I'm in love with, right? Because I can't hold space for them. I have an
Right.
agenda. But, also too,
Mm,
that's good, right?
knowing
That's good, right?
yes.
but knowing that, plus I just know too much, but knowing, but knowing that they've had this trauma, I was thinking, while you were talking, we're a fish in water basically when it comes to our experiences and how those have impacted us and our thoughts. So like, we can't, this is all we know. Like, we don't even see it because it's around us. So, again, as a loved one, I can help that person at least with understanding, and maybe, and you'd have to be careful with how you present this, but how this may be impacting them and how they're showing up. Now, if this person is, let's say, lashing out because of its, so let's say they were abandoned. So then they kind of, as a defense mechanism, maybe they like push people away when they get too close. I might, bring that up, and you're aware of it now. But over time, if we're both not, I mean, I'm doing what I can. But if you're not, maybe if you're just saying, well, sorry, it's just because of my childhood, I can't get down with that. But of course, I will, you know, love you and support you while, you maybe try to work on it. And when you slip up, that's fine. Like, I'm not going to expect you to be perfect. Does this
or
all this
fixed
make sense?
or fixed overnight, because we all know that Rome wasn't built in a day.
Right.
But at least show some type of growth and development. But it's
Right.
messed up when the conversation be like, well, I've been like this since childhood, or this is
Right.
hereditary. That's fucked up, because then now you're making a person to now sit and deal with your part of the trauma that you're not willing to acknowledge, fix, or even get better.
Yeah, to grow from. Like, I think they'll always, and me and Dr. Kobe, we've talked about this like in a few shows ago. There might always be a certain, like, I think about the body, there's always going to be a hinge or something to that broken bone But, it's still, so I'm okay with that, when those things come up. But are we working on healing that and trying to progress and strengthen that? That's the biggest thing I would say for me if I was in
Yes.
that, position. So, what do you
May I
think,
throw
Dr.
one?
Jacoby?
Well, I want to throw one kind of thing in there to see if it changes anything. Um, you, Queen, would eventually say, "Hey, at some point, I have to take care of myself because I don't see the growth." I just want to throw one little wrench in there. Marriage.
Mm.
So, in a marriage situation, would you have the same response as far as like, well, the
Hell
growth?
yeah.
Without a thought, or like without a second
What
thought.
was it too fast? Hold on. You said
No,
slower, I'll come in.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Does that help? Because
she knows. She knows what she did.
Oh, okay. So that was the wrench. Um, I'm curious. Help me understand, please, if you don't mind. Help us understand, like why. So I think in a relationship where it seems like it's not going anywhere, like we're putting a lot of time into this, X number of days, weeks, months, and years.
but it's the same with the years. So now y'all married 30 some years later and it's still the same bullshit. Yeah,
Hmm.
y'all getting old together. You a little bit more trusting with your depends. He a little bit more of the trust. You know what I'm saying? Trusted with your granny panties and shit like that. Y'all
Right.
got that type of shit invested, but
Right.
you're still having the same basic ass arguments and fights. Like
Right.
y'all still not happy. Y'all still ain't trying to fix nothing. So now, fuck it. The kids is gone.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. All right. So are you saying that the kid during kid years you'll stay?
Oh.
Oh, I mean, it's so fucked up.
Yeah.
No, so
Cause you
first
see, I
this
said the
one.
kids is gone,
I'm
so
kidding.
you
Right.
better leave too. Shit.
Right. Well, but because when we first had the conversation,
But
it
see,
sounded like there was no
that comes
timeline.
from that. See, my answer again is very selfish, but it's
Yeah.
not selfish for me. It'll be selfish for the kids. And I would say, you know what I'm saying? Yes, you would stay for the kids to a certain
Oh,
age. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
you ain't doing them diapers and shit by yourself. Don't be no fool. You need help. Daycare is expensive. Y'all better make it work.
Ah, okay.
Well,
Coach, when I was first talking about it, it sounded like, and I know not one conversation, but it sounded more immediate. Like, oh, I ain't got time for this. If you
right.
can't put it together, so that's why I threw in the wrench of, okay, what about marriage? But then even now add in like, oh, okay, so you'll weather the storm
Then
for
do you know how much child care is?
right,
Child
Mm.
care is up there with rent. I
right,
mean, hey, he made his selfish choice. I mean, his selfish decision. I was made like this. Well, goddamn it, this child care, this bills. We all making a sacrifice some way, somehow. You
right.
just make yours wisely.
Well, I'm wondering, so is there a limit then, like a monetary like value then, like that
Them kids,
where the kids like
them
I'll
kids.
say
Do you have
you're
kids, Coach?
I do not yet.
Do you have a dog or cat?
I have two cats.
Ain't the motherfuckers expensive?
Yes,
Now, hold on.
Or
So
they
now we
are.
ain't gonna even
They
say kids. We're gonna just stick to the animals. Okay.
no, but seriously, they
You
are.
don't even
Yeah.
you don't even have to worry about housing them. But let's just say if you was to go somewhere, you gotta pay somebody for that. You think you finna leave me with them and kitty litter? I gotta carry that shit?
I do it anyway.
The
He
vet
doesn't need to do
bills?
it. That's a fact.
Like at least one of them gotta at least be on your medical if we leaving. We gotta make them type of decisions.
That does change things. That is for sure. You're
You see
not
what I'm
wrong.
saying? Put a couple of extra more things up on it. Like
You're
you got
not
a
wrong.
mystery, a mystery exam going on. We know vet bills is automatically X-rays, $3,000. Baby, come back. You know what I'm saying? Now, we gonna talk about this.
Isn't that interesting? No, it is very real though, because but it's tangible. So I'm wondering too, like, so let's say maybe a couple without kids or without animals,
But
what things are, yeah, go
you
ahead.
still got the ones without the kids and without the animals. They're a little spoiled. So now they're accustomed to a little bit more
Mm,
things. Okay. So now what you mean we can't take that trip to New York? We can't stay in
mm,
Manhattan? Or one of us get to do it? Oh no.
mhm.
Bring that mental illness this way. We is going together. Life be lifing. Everybody can't nobody tell me that we is not out here really making sacrifices like this. Am
Right.
I the only one?
No,
Right. Wow.
Take
no,
one of
I
them kids
think
then. I'm just saying. We gonna make
you
it
are
fair.
being real. You're being very real, but it is real because we do think about that. Like, okay, I might be willing. Okay, this
And
might
I
be a little
just don't want
silly.
nobody to think like, oh, because that's the one thing. Oh, females is gold diggers. She's only staying because of the kid. Hey, sir, sir, can you do that laundry and cook and clean by yourself? Nope. You gonna do what? I'm gonna
Right.
stay with a crazy ass. She cook and clean. I don't gotta worry about none of this, and my clothes is iron. We
Yeah, and
making
fast too.
sacrifices.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Right.
But when does
She
it get
take the
too
kids to
much?
school.
Hmm.
All right, come on. You got to think about it. No child support.
That's true, and I think these are just ways that we're kind of making a pros and cons list. Like, how do they actually add? I mean, this is very real. It is funny, but because it's real, but also too, we can even look at, like, there are, the intangible things that these people do. That, like, well, who's going to tell us that we're pretty all the time, or something? I don't know.
You know
You
what I'm saying?
know.
That little twirly thing, even though I know it's only 8 minutes, but he consistent with it. He consistent. And he clean up afterwards and he fry the chicken right. Homeboy, that motherfucker don't know how to fry chicken. We eating cereal and he playing on my Xbox. What are the pros and cons? What are you gonna do? It's the best 45 minutes ever, but the nigga nasty. What are we gonna do?
Right.
I'm
Oh
Right.
sorry.
man. No,
No,
you're
no. So, I
funny.
mean,
It's,
it's
I mean, it's
real.
good.
It's real.
It's real.
But
So when it
when,
come back down to those vet bills, the
yeah,
kids, daycare, they say it take a village.
right.
Hey, we both been together. If one of the kids have to come home, we got a system down packed. It's other things that's set into play, not just okay, I need them for childcare. But like y'all even got an understanding and a rapport when they come to a system.
Yeah,
Now to not have no system, you got to wing this shit by yourself. The
right.
cost of living is going up. Kitty's vet bill, and I don't have no PTO.
Right.
What do we do?
Right.
All right.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you what we do. I'm gonna tell you what we do. How
What
old?
we do?
How old are we with these kids? Right.
No, we
How
won't
old,
even got kids. We got pets, so we just got cats.
pets. How old? How old are we talking? How old are the adults with the pets? Roughly. Give me a number
Oh, how old the adults are? Oh,
with the
um,
pets. Just give me a rough number.
30.
Okay, 30.
I don't know.
So, Queen, here's what we're gonna do. See, the reason I'm able to leave is because I learned when my father disappeared that what one man won't do, another man will. And so
I
when you
was
talk
thinking
about
about
these
that. Yeah.
cats and the things that we got going on in the shared responsibilities, sucks to be you. But check this out, and you could do whatever the fuck you want to do with the cats, but I'm out. And the reason I'm comfortable with that is because when you say, but they're only going to have one parent and they should have the balance and they should have the balance. But I didn't have the balance and I survived. And remember, we started this conversation because I believed that nothing was really wrong with me, or I believed that my history of experiences doesn't really impact the relationship. So when you said, people have to know whatever, and I didn't know, I didn't realize. And what I did realize though is that I survived with one parent, half a parent.
Mm.
So I hear your be smart, be wise, but we have so many people who've been conditioned. We have women, and this is not a doomsday conversation. This is not a blame the women. This is not a blame the men. When I try and think right down the middle, I think the men who've been taught or taught themselves what one man won't do, another man will. I think the woman version of that, or the female version, is this: my dad wasn't around, and I survived. Like I
Mm.
became that one. I am that person. And so I don't need a dude. I don't need a partner because I learned to survive. I watched my mom and dad go through it, said, shit, y'all need more help from me than I'm getting from y'all.
For real.
And so if I became a parent caretaker, like if I help my mom, if I help my dad, whoever that person was, if I end up doing more for them, I'm working now at 14 years old. I got a little side hustle, a little side gig, so I can help. Shit, I'm good. I can do bad by myself. When we're 30, talking about, hey, let's make the sacrifice. Now I'm good because are you trying to be with me, or are we just trying to do this for the because can I come over at 2 in the morning to see the kids at 2 in the morning when the kids are asleep? And then when you're like, hell no, well, you come over at 8, then I feel some kind of way because I was really going for the connection. But then how long, if I want a connection so badly, why am I out of the relationship? Or I'm just looking for some quick ass. Oh. But I just want to throw that into the challenge about I liked when I threw in marriage, I heard the deeper commitment, like, well, we have responsibilities. If we took it to
Mm.
that level and got married, at least what it appears to me, you were saying, well, we have responsibilities. But the second this shit is over, if you don't have your stuff together,
It's time to go.
right.
You got an
So
exit stage left because
yeah,
ain't
right.
no future in this shit. Like
Right.
30 more years we looking up and ain't nothing happened. No.
Right. Now I'm hoping the work could be done within those 30 years. Right.
Right. But again though, you have trauma, just like how you said you looked up and your mom did it without your dad. And
Mhm. But I don't see, let's go back to the theatrics, and I'm aware of time. I don't want to hold you too much longer, Queen. But when you, and I'm totally 1 billion% in my theatrics right now, but when you mention my trauma and what the stuff I did, I know what I did. Stop using my stuff. Let's focus on you. First of all, catch that
Mm.
double bind, coach, catch that double bind. Because when
but
Queen was talking about her, I made it about me.
again,
Right?
though, again, when I'm saying what I'm saying, it's not about you. But this right here is when you, if you're mature enough or you're willing to get the help, this right here is when they will point that out to you. And
Right.
then that way you can get the help. But if you don't want the help, this right here is also signs that you don't want it.
No, I do. See, that's where you
Because
keep getting me
you're
confused. I
steady
do want the
flicking
help.
it back to, yeah, you, but then me. And again, if we're trying to fix something, it's a we. It's not a you. It's not a me. It's a us. It's a we.
Mm, mm. You catch that, coach? And the
Mm.
reason I want to highlight that, Queen, just for a second, we're talking about this formula that people create for work relationships, school relationships, personal relationships. And how many times do we forget about the we? There's more than one person involved, but I want to make sure I'm taken care of. That's one of the arguments about the current thing about a man. You must do for me, do for me, do for me. But clearly, that woman is hearing me, 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 and then in
Mm.
reverse, for those who are out there saying, "Hey, I don't need a man," then we say, "Oh, you're selfish." And how are we going to raise family? How are we going to raise community? And how are we going to produce the world if you're being selfish? So I hear through Queen's words that far too often people focus on the me or the
Yeah.
you. But where's that we? What does we look like? What does that we look like? And how do we stay focused so we can sustain the we?
You know what? I think some of that comes down to, and but this does not mean it can't happen, is I think that a lot of us in society today have grown up without a community or even witnessing a we. So there's just the individual regardless, because there's an individual in a community, in a church, in a family. But now it's just me by myself. It's I'm going to get this on my own, whatever. There's no one else around. So there is no we, it's just me. Like, it's just what I want and what I want to do. What's the purpose of having a we, because I never seen it or something like that.
So,
Or
Coach,
not only that, though, I didn't mean to interject, but going back to the different perspectives, your perspective of a relationship and what you've seen and what
Mhm.
I've seen and what Coach seen is all different. So even
Mhm.
to not have those type of conversations and know what even a healthy relationship looks like to either one of us and trying
Mhm.
to go into a relationship is doomed because
okay,
we don't feel safe yet.
I have pushback.
Come on.
I'm still in the zone. So don't take it personal, either one of you. Did either one of you watch your parents have sex to learn how to do it?
That
No.
wasn't
Fuck,
my
no.
argument,
I,
but
I
No.
mean,
No.
I was
yeah,
gonna
that wasn't a
You did.
reason.
You
hold on.
didn't
I was
see
gonna
it.
say like I seeked, but I wasn't there watching.
Right.
Like we all seeked it, right?
Right. Did you take notes?
I was too young to take notes,
All
but
right.
it's
Well, now where I'm going, I'm not going to be crazy with it, but I didn't see it. I didn't know about it. And I normally
Yeah.
go against pull yourself up by the bootstraps, but we are talking about connections and relationships. We're talking about in order to maintain this job, I didn't see how to survive at a workplace before. I didn't see how to maintain corporate work stuff. I didn't know how to, at some point, you might not have seen it, but you better get an
but that
idea
goes back to
real quick.
accountability too, though. You
Okay,
know what I'm
what does that
saying,
mean?
Earl?
What does that
And
mean? I am
remember
being accountable.
what you mean?
I'm being accountable. Like I'm telling you whatever the
Okay,
hell I'm
right,
telling
but
you.
but no, but see, that's to a certain extent. If that's just gonna be your kickback, is I haven't synced it. Okay, well then go back to your example of not seeing sex. You ain't see your mom and dad have sex, but goddamn it, you figured it out. You watched a couple of you tried
Listen,
to
that's my argument. That's my argument. I
but
said,
hold on though. I'm just flipping it back to you since so we could just stay up on it. But again though, you know what I'm saying? You still held yourself accountable to try to be to try to learn. You know what I'm saying? To want to fix the situation. You know
right,
what I'm saying? Okay, well, if I don't know how to have sex and I'm finna go over here and do it with home, I gotta at least know how to fake it to make it.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that even go off of instincts. Okay, yeah, we didn't see no perfect ass relationship with our mom and our dad, but we somewhat synced um we somewhat synced relationships on TV. They
Mm,
communicated. We
mm,
somewhat synced relationships with our pastors. You know what I'm
right.
saying? We know that we can talk. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We
Hold
still
on. Here
try
we go.
to wanna
Or
to
friends'
wanna
parents.
establish it. Shit, hell, we find it with our favorite celebrities. So there's no way that you can say, well, nobody's taught me. You got to still be willing and wanting to learn. If you
Shit.
Right.
don't, then hey, you still not trying to grow.
You
You
give me
still
some
Right.
playing the
goosebumps.
blame
Yeah, I'm
game.
getting goosebumps, Coach. I'm getting goosebumps over here. She doesn't like. Woo!
You
That's a
calm
fact.
Man,
down.
That's a
huh?
fact.
Coach, you need to interject. Say something,
What?
lady.
You're right though. Like, I can't interject because
Right,
you're exactly right. You're
right.
exactly
But you,
right.
yeah, but you. I mean, you did fuck around and switch my out because you two were saying, "Hey, if we didn't see it, we didn't see it." And then I'm like,
By
"Yeah,
the
but
way,
that's some
that's not what I believe though. I don't think that's a reason, but people
right."
might say that though.
In our theatrics. I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think we're identifying every relationship. We're not speaking to
Right.
everyone.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in the version that we're speaking to, when I heard, yeah, but I didn't have two parents because I was the one saying, hey, what one man won't do, another man will. I'm out. And it sounds like Queen, if you're saying, well, no, for real, so you didn't say it, but are you bitching? That's your excuse. That's your excuse. because back to what I was saying, you didn't see your parents do X, Y, and Z, but you figured it out. I love those exact words. You figured it
I
out.
love
What?
you figure it out. That is the best
And that's what we're
thing.
doing. That's what we're doing with everything. So even with the trauma, with the relationships, hell with the jobs.
Right.
Can't
Yeah.
nobody come in here and fully sit up here and say that we know every goddamn thing about it. No. Shit
Right.
is
No, figure
always
it out.
changing.
Yeah. And you got to, I
So
think, roll with it. Roll with those changes.
Mm-hmm.
Roll with it. And in the event that the relationship doesn't stay, the work relationship, there are family members that don't get it. They are they're relatives. They're blood related, but that might not be your chosen family. That's not my. Some people don't understand me. They know what I look like, what I smell like, but they don't really know me. And I have to roll with it for certain things, and then other parts I have to know how I can detach. I'm okay with
Mm-hmm.
not talking to my family every single day, but we might have a conversation tomorrow, and we take off from where we left off. But I might have a partner who that looks confusing. Like, you don't talk, y'all just talked with yesterday like nothing happened. Oh yeah, we don't really get down like that. And so knowing when the people in your life who you do get down with like that and the people who you don't. But remember, I'm saying watch out for the trauma bonding. It feels good. These are my people. But if they have the formula that you have, and then boom, we actually are building cement together,
Mm.
and our children, or hell, even our pets, they get conditioned to these things and they watch us be unhealthy and then they become unhealthy. They get used to the dog owner that says, stick him, go get him. They get used to being able to play like that and take a plug out of somebody because that's what I've been taught. That's what I've been allowed. That's what I've been conditioned to do.
Normal. That's their normal.
That's their normal. Queen, this has gotten I love it. I love it. I love it. And coach, listen. We'll have to do this again. I
Oh, no,
didn't I
you're fine.
didn't plan because coach, I told you about the formula and then and like part two will be posted soon. Part two is really about now like solutions. Because Queen, you were getting to things like people need to take accountability. But those are big words in the world of what does that mean? What does that look like?
Right. What does
We
that
need
oh,
actually
right.
accountability
But
for
not only
you.
that though, it's even more fucked up because in a world of we've all gotten trained to be around or behind this phone
Yeah.
mean?
where you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to, you know what I'm saying, take responsibility. Oh, this was just the trend now. Or you don't get the chance to actually dig deep. Cause who in the fuck wants to figure out and really re go through that trauma, re
Right.
try to understand this shit, especially when I've band-aided it for so long and
Right.
now I'm okay with it.
Mm.
Right.
Well,
But
it's
are
just
you
working out here.
okay with
Wonderfully.
go ahead.
Go ahead,
Go
coach.
ahead. No, you.
Clinically, we never really got away from it. Remember what I said? If we're bonding, we actually stay reinforced. Reinforced.
Mm.
The person doesn't want to drink anymore. I don't want to be an alcoholic anymore. But we go to a sports restaurant. So even though
Mm.
I may not be having a drink, the bells, the whistles, the bartender who's flipping up the bottles and all that stuff is reinforcing. I may not be drinking, but in my mind, we stay in the bar. We are still in the bar. So I may not be reinforcing, but when we're together still like this, I'm still reinforcing that craziness, that mental health, the trauma, even though I claim that I got away from it. But we ever really get away from it? People need to know what getting away looks like. So taking accountability, I might be, but if I'm taking accountability with the chaos, I'm not drinking anymore, but I'm in the bar. I'm not drinking anymore, but I'm going to the
Mm.
sports restaurant. I asked, can you stay out of the sport restaurant or the bar or not have a drink for 30 days? And
It's
then
like your
watch how
identity almost.
yeah, huh?
Right.
It's like your identity. Like, if you're the person who, and this is in Atomic Habits, and this actually has really revolutionized how I've approached goals. But if your identity is still even though you're not physically drinking and consuming alcohol, but if you're still doing those things, you're still that person in
Yes,
a way.
the
You know what I
identity.
mean? Is that
No,
where
I'm
you were
not, because I
going?
can change anytime I want to, and I'm not drinking.
But change what? What do you what
I'm
do you
just talking
really
Change.
change?
shit.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
just acting
Right,
like
right.
you.
Yeah,
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 I'm
like
not
how people say it.
thinking.
That's what
uh,
people say.
but coach, I mean, the way you said it, I mean, you hit a home run with like, yes, that identity, and I might not do that specific behavior, but were we aware of how that behavior transitioned? I don't smoke
Mm-hmm.
cigarettes anymore, but I now gain weight from all the food that I eat. I don't do this anymore, but I transitioned in what they call cross addict. So now I'm
Yes.
cross addicting to do this other thing. I don't get in a
Still is
bunch of
bad.
relationships anymore, but I lock into the one that I'm in. Like, you can't go, you can't go.
Right.
Oh. So I'm either a
Right?
serial monogamous person, like one after another. But at least I'm not cheating, but one after another. Or, shoom, I got this posse, and we just so all you really did was shift.
Right.
Right. And it's not, you're still masking it and it's still not going to the root of it.
Yeah, yeah. But it's an effort, right? It's an effort.
Right.
Or
But
it,
It is.
I don't think people will, they can take accountability. Like if let's say someone's like, here, this is kind of what you've been, if I present you with what your actions have been creating for you, um, it, they're still, it's going to be tough for them to, move into something that's not normal. But especially when maybe they don't recognize, and I'm sure we'll talk about this next week, Dr. Nakambi, but
Mhm.
they don't recognize what they're missing out, or what the I guess consequences of not working on this are.
Right?
This is normal and it feels safe and it feels good, but how is this actually affecting you, and what could it look like if you weren't participating in these actions? You may not be doing drugs or doing XYZ, but are you living in the most useful way, I guess, is what I would want to kind of present to people, because they don't consider it, because this is normal. This is what they know.
Right.
It's fine, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask that what you just said, Coach. I want to ask that when people come back next week for the like, what do we do for the skills, the changing the behavior, those pieces? I would ask people to bring an accountability partner to the call. If you have someone you trust out there, anyone listening to the replay or now, if you have someone you trust, I would ask if you come back to next week, if this topic did it for you, like if it hit home, if you resonate with it, if you feel it, the formula, and we're talking about now busting it up so you're not repeating behaviors. We're busting that up so you're not repeating these at risk, damaging, relationship ending, job ending relationships. Please bring an accountability person with you or have them listen with you on the call. Because when we start talking about creating goals, how can that person help you either help hold you accountable and or participate in those behavior changes? If we're going to have behavior change,
Love it.
there's certain steps to it.
Yes.
There's certain pieces to it. Because even when you talked about, listen, I had a choice. I take away from what you said when I said, why do you give a bleep bleep bleep? Why do you care so much? I took away that you have a choice. But
Mm,
the choice that you choose also includes you. Meaning, yes, I choose not to be mean to these people because I've been there. I shared in that experience, but that does not mean I'm gonna be a fool.
Right.
Right?
Not at all.
That
Right.
does not mean I don't create boundaries. That does not mean that I lose myself so I get so consumed because if I don't take care of me, I won't even be in position to help take care of anyone else.
So true.
So we're going to be talking about creating those goals, but not just, kind of the Coach K and Doc way of like really getting into what these goals mean. Because words, I mean, they mean certain things, but like I did with respect. If we create a goal of, I'm going to start respecting myself, well, what does that mean? Because
what does that look like?
right, what does that look like? Because if the feel good part of me says, I know I shouldn't have this pizza, but just for tonight, fuck it, because if you felt what I felt tonight, or if you understand what I was going through, just for tonight, for
You
how I'm
have that
living life,
pizza. But
yeah.
nope. But if you respect yourself, you won't.
But what does that mean? Because I do
No,
respect
no, I'm
myself.
saying though, like I was just flipping it. So,
Yeah,
like, of course, one would say that you don't respect yourself, and
right,
that's why it's so easy for you to say, well, if you knew about my night, then you would let me have it. You would
Mm,
justify you would
yeah, I
understand me
deserve it.
justifying for it.
right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying? And like you say, that's why we need to have people to hold us accountable, because the same way that you're looking for somebody to help you with this pity party, it'll be that person to be like, but you know what? You said you're not trying to big in your back. So if
right,
you need your back to be unbigging, you can't have that pizza. You
right.
need to held you need to not only hold yourself accountable, but you got to really think about what it is that you said, your goals. And if you respect yourself, hey, we done.
Okay.
Because this right here is not looking like respect, friend.
Final hangmaker, final hangmaker. Here we go. Buckle up. Queen, and I know you're a chef and all that, so I know you know about healthy eating, blah, 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 and the pizza and what it's going to do for my arteries and all that. I don't give a fuck. When are you
I'm
going
a
to get through your
do
fucking skull? I don't give a fuck if I live tomorrow. If I don't see another goddamn day, I'm cool with it. You think I like all this bullshit that's going on in my life? And if the pizza is going to kill me over the motherfucker at work, we don't talk about that. We don't want to talk about that. Over this goddamn numbskull that I'm dating. Oh no, we don't want to talk about that. We want
Okay,
to talk
wait,
about this
am I
fucking
your
pizza.
friend? Am I your friend, or am I
Let's
talking to
do it.
you?
Let's do it. You whoever the fuck you want to be. I know one thing. You tell me about this goddamn pizza, and I'm trying to tell you
Fuck
for
you and
tonight.
that
I don't
goddamn
want to
pizza,
because I'm
because
your
the pizza
goddamn
at the end of the
accountability.
day is not gonna fix shit. At the end of the day, you're gonna need another pizza tomorrow. So what is the root of
That's
the
a great
problem?
point.
What is
That's a
we
great
trying to
point.
fix? What is you mad at? Do you want to go there and fight the people at the job? Let's do that then. But again, we need to have a result. We need to have a solution. And it can't just be, well, the pizza, because goddamn it, it's gonna be the pizza again the next day, and then the day before that. And then now when your thighs is rubbing together, I don't want to hear that shit.
And
I
then you're
don't.
upset
Because
about
you
your
wanted that fucking
thighs and you
pizza.
need
So
more
hey,
pizza.
it's not what you do, it's how you do it. I'm sorry.
That's
But
Like
friend,
fair.
them thighs gonna be rubbing.
yeah.
And that goes
Yes.
back to holding ourselves accountable. So again, if we can talk and we can have these realistic conversations,
Right.
I know what respect now looks like for you, and
Right.
how
Yeah.
you're trying to respect yourself. So
Yes.
then now I know how to step up and give my friend that part of that. But
Yes.
also too, if we're friends, you need to know that part of me respecting myself is gonna come with tough love. So I'm gonna say, thunder thighs, we not eating that shit today. We doing salad.
Right.
And
Bagel
I mean that
thighs.
with
I love
love.
that word. Or thunder. Yeah, thunder thigh, bagel
Yes. That's
thigh.
right.
Yeah.
Yes. But yes,
But we
Queen.
have to be ready for those types of conversations. And we also have to surround ourselves with, like you say, the right support system, the right people that's going to help us hold ourselves accountable. But we can't keep looking for that to come from other people. God damn it, we was born in this world by ourselves. We're gonna die by ourselves. So we gotta at least start holding ourselves accountable for us. Because
Right.
what do we do when our support system not around?
Right.
Who do you
That's a great
have?
point. I mean, there, yeah.
Right. Um. This is the example of friendship, relationships, connection, accountability partners. And we talk about friends because there's different types of friends. You only get a few true companions in a lifetime. But part of it involves what Queen was saying, that tough love. And part of it is being able to speak freely. And coach, with my blow up, and we'll get more into this next time, know that there's comfort in my blow up. There's comfort in knowing that I can blow up. You ever notice people who get crazy with you in front of you? Like, why? But you wouldn't do that at work. Would I have done the same blow up at work? Now, I mean, some people do lose their job. They lose their mind, lose their job. But notice the comfort. We'll just pretend this was a real situation. The comfort
Right.
of me really getting there. You don't understand. would I have done that at work? So I always wonder those who are selective, or who said it? I know the comedian said it, but one of our shows, I heard someone talk about selective outrage, right? The
Yeah.
selective outrage. And then
Yeah.
the fact that Queen was unmoved by the chaos. Part of the benefit of trauma, part of the benefit of surviving some chaos in your life to now where it's like, wow, you really swelled up. But anyways, I was saying, Thunder Thighs, you're gonna need to.
You know what I'm saying? If we trying to unbiggen our back, this is not what we do.
Right,
This is
right,
not what we do.
right,
Because again, that's not the result that you're trying to get. And but it goes deeper too, because now by us having these conversations, we know what respect looks like to us.
right,
So you know damn well you better not ask me or even come to me about no damn pizza now.
right,
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm that friend that's gonna hold you accountable. So
right,
then now by you knowing that, and it gets to be deep where now you have to hold yourself accountable.
right. And
Because
that
then now
holding,
shit,
right,
we all will do what? Well, I ain't finna talk to that bitch because that bitch gonna call me thunder thighs and
Right.
she gonna
Right.
say
right,
all this
You
stuff,
won't get
and I'm
pizza
right.
with
really finna
me.
eat this pizza.
Yeah,
No.
I start dodging,
Right.
right, Coach? I start dodging Queen like, oh yeah, no, we haven't hung out in a while because that motherfucker, she's over.
She a little crazy.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
crazy.
And then we're okay with being, then we, whether we notice it or not, or we realize it, we choose to
right,
then hang around people who aren't going to hold us accountable. And we don't realize that we're doing that with our circle because that's, contributing to that normalcy.
And we don't
because
realize that they don't respect us. That's
right,
Mhm.
not them is not people who we need to be around.
And
I was
maybe
Because
they
like
probably
you
don't
say, they
respect
give us that
themselves
feel
either.
good for
Yeah.
that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what did you say, coach?
I said, and they probably are also struggling with like respecting themselves too. Like, let's say if they're also, eating pizza, and so they're not going to stop us from eating pizza. Or
Right.
sometimes too, I feel
Misery
bad
love
about
company.
myself, so I want you to eat that pizza because I know you're going to get those big thunder thighs, and then at least I don't have my thunder thighs.
I'm not by myself.
Yep,
Trauma bonding.
yep.
Yes.
And that's too how we notice it's not unique to this space, but a lot of people, and we've talked about this, a lot of people like to talk about all their issues, and that again feels good because it feels productive, but it's a false sense of productivity.
Yeah.
And there's that connection component too, that community, that we all seek, but what are we getting from it? What are the net, consequences? Is it serving us? It's a choice at the end of the day, but obviously we'll talk about that.
right.
Yes.
Listen, this has been an awesome conversation.
This has been fun. I
Yeah,
can't
I
I
had
can't
fun.
get over that kitty litter part. That was hilarious.
Because that
Seriously, that
shit is
litter is heavy.
heavy.
Yes,
The
it is
shit is
heavy
heavy
as
now.
shit.
Just a little side note, okay? So been picking up different gigs and I did fetch. I'm like, why in the fuck are these people ordering 3,000 pounds of kitty litter for one person? What the? You need a husband for this shit. You need a husband for the fucking kitty litter. The
Right.
shit's
Right.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm not. It really is, especially if they're not bringing it to my door. I'm like if I order it, someone's got to go.
But
Someone's got to go
but
pick this
but
shit up.
Queen, is it just for? I mean, like just to carry it and clean it and all that. I mean, is it just for the service? I mean, are we good for anything else?
What you talking about the kitty litter? You talking about
Yeah,
carrying it?
yeah, carrying it, cleaning it, and doing all that
I
like
don't
that.
have no cat. I just know, like I said, I did fetch when
Right. What I
when
mean,
I
is
was
it
talking to
helping do?
coach when we came across the example because she said she don't have kids.
Yeah, the
So
cats,
then
Mhm.
I
right?
just went straight to animals. Like, well, I got a dog. Maybe she got animals. She said cats. Lord, I couldn't have no cats. My
Right,
mom got two cats and she stay on the third floor and her building don't have elevators.
Yep,
So
that's
to
us. That's
bring
us.
those and I'd be like, I'm helping my mom out. But after a
yeah,
while, I'd be like, you know what? This old lady, she is hiking up these stairs with this kitty litter, but she good. I couldn't
Yeah,
do it. I can't do it. No.
it is cheaper to get the big amount too. So it's like
right. But what I
Yes.
heard you,
40 pounds.
And
when
you
I
got
heard
to
you
carry it
say,
to the third floor. Fuck
Yep.
that.
but when I heard you say that's why you need a husband. Now I think of old and like traditional relationships where that was the idea of like, no, I got this, babe. I carry the heavy. I take the heavy load. I think the modern version of that means he's only good for the heavy lifting,
Mm.
and then
Oh,
he
but
can.
see, no, I wasn't saying it like that. I was saying it to be funny. Because you know what I'm saying? Just so I don't have to lift it, anybody can get this kitty. You know what I'm saying? This shit is ridiculous. Hubby,
Oh man.
mailman,
I can't. I can't. You're
Hey, they
like,
do
like that
deliver it.
shit is
Sometimes they
heavy.
will walk it up.
And then you know what I'm saying? Like you got the chewy boxes and shit. Like you want
Yes, it is says
that
heavy
shit's
on the box.
heavy.
Yeah, it'll say
right.
heavy on the box.
And then now the residents is they're getting lazy in these apartment complexes, right? Motherfuckers is getting whole groceries, cases, 36 cases of water.
Because they don't have to pay.
Why?
Right. Right.
And I
And that's
gotta
what
carry
they
this
say.
as a job. If I
I
had a
know.
husband, he wouldn't let me do this by myself.
Yes.
Babe, pick this
Mhm.
water up. We finna make this work.
I
But
know. I know. I've looked up a pulley system. There's like little like carts or
you
something.
need,
Like,
you
all
gotta
the
have
crazy other
a
shit.
back
I'm like, God,
brace,
me God.
knee pads, anklets, everything.
That's what it really is for
Everything.
real.
It's just heavy.
It's so real.
Listen, this has been awesome. Let me do this.
Oh
For
man.
those who've been listening, again, my particular lens that I see, in addition to the conversation, I've just been involved in the conversation, all three of us. So we haven't been giving out any shout outs. Again, our guest tonight is Queen. Um, Down scrolling at the bottom, you'll see
Thank you.
her information for Cash App. I'm going to ask that we show some love. And normally we're not one of those channels on here begging for Cash Apps. No, that's not the deal. But I think the amount of um, sincerity, the amount of realness and dialogue and what we did together, all three of us, to be able to engage and look at different perspectives that people most definitely can relate to. I would love if
Mhm.
we can show some support to our guest. It's down there, but it's Cash App, money sign KISHMMONEY.
Thank you.
So yes,
Yes,
any
that's
love you can show that
love.
would be great. Is any? I know I talked about you mentors. Anything that you, any way people can find you, or you having? Are you on social media? Is anything you would, or people that
Yeah.
you relate to, or that you like, that you support? Like, wow,
Well,
this
right
person helped me
now,
too.
right now, the two that I could think of is standard edition women.
Standard
So,
edition women.
yes.
Okay, let me
Um,
put that
a
in there.
wonderful organization that's out here really doing the the footwork on just mental black women, well, not black women, women of color, but all women, mental
Mhm.
health, because as we all go through so much, you know what I'm saying? And just to have somebody to check in, talk to you, help with resources, it's just been a blessing.
Okay, okay.
My second one is I'm gonna drop my baby. My daughter, she's out here making candles,
Oh,
you
nice.
know.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
And I don't know if y'all can see her name.
Is that Kim? Is that was it Kim Love?
No, it's dollar sign Samira Lari.
Oh, yes.
And
All right.
I
Dollar
didn't put
sign.
her
And
unique
then,
wax. And I didn't put her tag for Insta on there, but I'll figure it out and put it on there for the
oh,
next time. But she's
Yeah.
making candles and just supporting, helping out my people, the people. Kitty litter, if y'all want to sponsor me with that heavy shit.
yeah.
But I'm
Oh
just
man.
out here, just even just trying to show love through communicating and talking, because communication is the key. Do y'all know how many calories we burnt with all this laughing today?
That's true.
Like,
It went by so fast. Yeah.
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 so just even that, just doing acts of service and just being available, because at the end of the day, we is all we have. So we have to love on each other. We got to help as best as we can, and just find new ways to even be there, because everything is just finna go crazy.
If you were to, and we're actually going to final thoughts. If you were to, if there's anything else in addition to what you just said, if you were to think of a final thought, which I take what you just said to be, but if you have one more thought uh, that you could give the audience or those listening to the replay, what would it be about tonight's conversation?
Communicate, and be okay with being vulnerable with the
Mm,
right people. Because I know it's easier said than done. But when you when you at least try it, it gets a little bit more easier, and then that helps you to weed out.
mm,
But we will never know what one is dealing with if we don't talk about it. We would never know how to fix this problem if we don't talk about it.
Mhm.
So I say communicate and talk to listen,
mhm,
and listen to learn, and learn to grow. Let's fix this shit.
mm.
Yep,
Beautiful. Okay.
that's good.
Wow. Again,
And I
ladies and
hope you have
gentlemen.
me next week, because this was very good.
Yes,
This
yes,
is
yes.
fun. Yeah,
Coach K,
Thank
you
definitely.
too, like very, very sassy, and I'm liking it. Come on.
Oh, oh, trust me. I'll try to keep it under wraps, but I am definitely sassy. That's for sure.
Yes.
I like you. Yeah, we'd be trouble for sure.
I'm
you.
loving it. I'm loving it.
Yes.
But thank
Um,
you guys. This
yeah,
was wonderful. I truly appreciate the opportunity to even just be heard. Thank you.
absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely.
We thank you very much. I wish you a great rest of your night. Again, for those listening in on the replay, please put on the wall, and hopefully Queen will be able to see it on the wall. And just any love you can put out there, we greatly appreciate it. Queen, have a good rest of your night. Coach K and I are going to finish with some final thoughts. We salute you and appreciate you for stopping through.
Yes.
Peace and blessings
Thank
to you
you.
both. Thank
You
you.
also
Thank you.
hope to see you soon.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
That was fun. I love these conversations, though, obviously. I mean, obviously.
Right, right. Um, Final thoughts, but we have some messages. That again we did not. I saw a couple. I saw a few on the screen. So I want to apologize if people left those messages and had moved on to a different show or whatever. But if you catch the replay, please want to give you those acknowledgments that we see the world classes in the house, lost in
Yeah.
translations in the house. There was just some comments about the SAS and
Yeah.
fire. Get people lose their jobs. So yes, absolutely, people lose their jobs every day, going to work with
Yeah.
foolishness, and sometimes not even having the chaos, but not understanding how the system works. Like, and I say more recently than others when you these systems where people are saying it's not a good fit because of your politics, it's not a good fit because of your whatever or the way we want to move is not a good fit. And those who are strong and confident and speak and talk back and set boundaries, there are some systems in place where the best way to not have to deal with that is to just cut you loose. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so not just for messing up at work, but people end up. There's another whole show we could do on that. But
Yeah.
Isaiah Jr. was in the house. Thank you. Dragonfly was in the house. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dragonfly Jones. Um,
Andre. Andre was
Andre. Oh yeah,
here.
Andre Trey was here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Lady
Lot
Navoa.
Lady Navarro. Hey,
Our
hey.
sweetest. Yeah, she's
Thank
the
you.
best.
Thank you for being here.
Not
Andre
Lowe's too.
who?
Not Lowe's too. He's been
Oh
really
yes,
active in
yes.
the
In
chat. So
fact, they had
thank
a
you for
comment.
all.
Yes, they had a comment earlier about trauma and people being able to not identify as that trauma or not live that trauma. It happened when they were younger,
Mm,
and I think the comments were about outgrowing it or outgrowing that life. Again, I don't remember the exact words, but if I'm correct, it was something about people can absolutely people can,
Yeah, the neural pathways and
yeah,
of the brain.
yeah,
Yeah.
so they can recondition their brain, they can learn new behaviors. Absolutely. So thank you for those comments. If we miss anyone tonight on the list, again, I apologize for.
Oh, Scam was also here. Hey,
Oh,
hey,
scam
hey,
dust. Okay,
Gusto,
okay. So,
McDust.
thank you to everyone for your continued support, for being here. The topic, if it was triggering for some people, again, the intent was to have it to be real, but really wanted to pull all these known and unknown or spoken to and unspoken to ingredients, so to speak, that go into any relationship. So parenting, family, work, school, romantic relationships. I like when I added to Queen marriage, how she articulated, like, right, that changes things, and how
Yeah,
much time and energy she's willing to put into like a casual relationship versus the commitment
right.
with the kids or cats.
And then do
um,
we get to marriage if it's just a casual relationship? So then we're like, okay to,
right.
disperse of it or whatever. But
And then even the plan after, because the kids are gone, and you've had 30 years to get it together. What's up? That
yeah.
and that holds true more times than people realize, because it doesn't always have to be mom. It could be dad too. But historically, mom and dad are together. So historical relationship, mom and dad are together. But then when the kid comes, the mother, the nurturer, is bonds more with the kid, and then it actually
Mm-hmm.
causes a wedge. It starts to separate. And then you
Mm-hmm.
do 18 years like this. I mean, some families are like that, but you do 18 years and then the kid is gone, but there's actually a wedge between it. So there's a disconnect. And we have
Right.
to rebuild. We have to rebuild just to get back together. People have
Right.
retirement plans. All those plans were made here. And the kids come, and then those wedges, and where we are going to go camping and seeing the world. But now that doesn't really, like, you don't like that stuff. So there's a lot
That's a
of
good point.
things that change.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Um, so yes, again, anyone else who we didn't say tonight, my apologies. I just don't have the full list. Hopefully you heard something that you liked tonight, that you're willing to pass it or share it on to others. Please hit the like button if you have not. If you've come in and stayed for a while. If you've been here before, my favorite line, coach, that I'm stealing from that other. I should say stealing.
She's cute. She is cute.
You saw it?
I did. I could tell I like her content already. I can just say
Man,
that.
she's sassy. You want to talk about sassy?
Love
That one is,
e-
yes. Oh
she's a
man,
cute, yeah.
yes.
We gotta connect
Uh,
y'all.
and I think you really have to be poly to be with her, because every guy is just like, oh, hell,
Of
everybody, every
course.
woman, everybody. Oh.
Of course. I mean, I'm already like, oh, she's so
Yeah.
pretty. But
So
yeah.
if you haven't hit the subscribe button, but you've been here several times, as she would say, and it's funny because when I talk about her, I never remember her name. I never remember when I talk about her. I put it in that one chat, that one show. But
Oh
if you've
yeah,
been
yeah,
here
yeah.
several times and you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. As she would say, we already go together. We're already married. Well, wife me up, she says. Wife me up.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah. So again, salute and congratulations to the 3K. We'd like that to continue to grow and build. And next week, the goal is to now talk about, but realistic. I'm not saying other goal planning is not realistic. I'm saying really hitting a lot of what does it look like? How does it fit? How does it land? What is your understanding? Making it a SMART goal. Like, how do we know? And then what is even the celebration? We do well, we just move to another goal, but no, let's acknowledge and celebrate things that have been resolved and things that have not, and things that have been worked on and things that still need work. And the goal overall is to help one person at a time, but for all of us to just break those cycles, those chains that have helped to keep us anchored into the pits of bullshit. The break the anchors, the chains to the anchors that have kept us feeling and believing the belief system that believes we're dumb, we're stupid, we're
Mm,
not good enough, we're not good enough. Breaking those chains, and even if you build new ones, because no one's just going to be anchor free from everything. But if you build new ones, build ones that are healthier for you, or build ones that give you better results in the long run. I have mood disorder, but I'm able to manage it and I'm able to have less kind of outbursts. I have safety issues, but I've learned my partner is not the one that I should be so angry and taking it out on. But the truth
Mm-hmm.
is, I, I, my friends and people I'm closest to are the ones I mistrust the most. Now, there's a strategy that says, good, those are the people you have to look out for. Your friends you have to look out for. But at the
Right.
same time, how much are we projecting? How much are we? Anyway, we can get into it, but
That's good. Yeah.
I really liked the conversation. So thank you, Coach. I know you
Yes.
weren't kind of like knowing where I was going with it. So
No, this was great. No, this was,
yeah, yeah.
I loved it. And I
All right,
can't wait for
good.
next week.
All right. Thanks for your flexibility. Always an honor
Always.
to work with you and be here with you. Thank you. Thank you.
And with
Thank you.
you,
Yeah.
likewise.
And thank you for our listeners. We appreciate you.
Yes.
CBN, thank you for doing what you're doing tonight.
Yes.
DME, thank
Good
you for
sir.
doing what you do. I'm not sure if Alexis from Texas was helping tonight, but if she had a hand in anything, thank you. But CBN, spot on with what we needed tonight. So super, super, super thanks. Everyone have a great rest of your night.
Yes. Bye.